had three goals in mind when I wrote the book. First, I wanted to write about Homer, and at the same time, I wanted to write a mystery, so I figured, let's do two things at once. Secondly, I wanted to be true to the time period. Not like a book like Caleb Carr's historical mystery, The Alienist, which is very popular. I read it. It's not bad. But the sensibilities were all modern. His treatment of women was way too modern for the 19th century. Also, the protagonist is a criminal profiler who could have stepped right out of Silence of the Lambs. The third goal I had in mind was I wanted to do the two things most important to make a successful mystery. First, a mystery shouldn't be easy to predict. A mystery that's not a mystery is not a mystery. If you can figure out the mystery too early on, the mystery fails. A book like that, to me, a good book, a book I liked, was Tana French's In the Woods. But I figured out the mystery on page 126 out of 429. So I wanted to keep the reader guessing until the end. Secondly, when I did reveal the mystery, I wanted it to make complete sense. A book that to me didn't do that was Paula Hawkins's Girl on a Train. In that book, it seemed to me like she got to the last chapter, had a deadline breathing down her neck, and had to come up with anybody to be the murderer. And the person she came up with, there was no preparation for that person, why that person would be a murderer. There was no logical lead into it. So to me, it failed. The plot is, it's 750 BC. Homer has just been struck down for dead. He awakens after 3 days of unconsciousness. When he wakes up, he's amnesiac. He can't remember the attack. He can't remember the 30 days before it. He also finds out that there was a murder that same night that he was attacked, and he's a suspect. So he has to reconstruct his memory in order to solve the crime. At the same time, he's aphasic. Aphasia is a type of brain injury. When the left side of your brain is damaged, that's where your verbal centers are. So it can result in things like inability to read, inability to understand the spoken word, inability to write, inability to speak yourself. So obviously in a oral poet, this is crucial. I mean, if he can't speak, he can't recite his poetry. So he's lost his livelihood in addition to all his other problems. There are 4 more homicides in the novel. Finally, he's brought up before the village tribunal and condemned to death. The plot includes reference to a set of mythological Greek beings. For example, the Maenads. The Maenads are the orgiastic revelers that follow the god Dionysus, the god of wine. Eurynamos, he's the blue-skinned, iron-toothed, iron-clawed consumer of the dead in the underworld. And then also the Erinyes. The Erinyes are the bat-winged female tormentors of guilty people. I wanted to be scrupulously true to the time period. Time period is the early Iron Age, 750 BC. Greece has just come out of a 200-year dark age. So things are still bad in Greece. It's a world of hunger, superstition, violence. So I wanted to include that in the book. In the philosopher Thomas Hobbes' terms, life was nasty, brutish, and short. So although I was scrupulous to the time period, the book is all about the mystery. I guarantee you won't guess the ending. And it's not because I played tricks like an example of a mystery writer playing tricks on the user to keep his story a mystery is The Sixth Sense, the movie The Sixth Sense by M. Night Shyamalan. I say he's playing tricks because think about it this way. He has a scene where he interacts with an ex-lover in a restaurant. That's the only scene where he's dealing with anybody else besides the little boy. So consider, if he had another scene where he's dealing with somebody else, it would have to follow the exact structure of the scene with the ex-lover. And if you saw two odd scenes like that structured just the same way, you'd smell a rat and you'd figure out the ending. I made sure I did not do that. When the ending comes, even though it's impossible to guess, you'll say, oh yeah, that makes sense. And those are the two things that a good mystery should do. I hope you read the book, hope you like it. Thanks.